you hate the thought of working past 55 or 60? Do you hate not being able to live the life you deserve today? Do you hate not knowing what your financial future looks like? It's time to stop doing what you hate. Here's your host, Mr. Harold Green.
Aloha, everybody. This is Harold Green of Brightree Financial Group, and it is time to stop doing what you hate. What's up, everybody? Man, I'm excited to be bringing you guys today's show. I'm always excited, but something happened this week that it's got me all like G'd up, super excited about it. I was sharing something with somebody the other day, and you know how like sometimes you put something out there and then this thing just gets infectious and then it just gets like obnoxious. And so we're talking about affirmations and things like that, and how you can begin to speak your world into existence. I'm going to not talk about this too much because there's just so much out there on it. There's so many people that are probably better suited to teach you about affirmations than I am. But I was talking to someone and they were saying certain things. And I said, you got to stop that. You got to change that. And you know what you say every day when you get up? You say, your name. I'm an amazing person. I live an amazing life. And this day is going to be an amazing day. So that thing, it got on me. And almost every day this week, several times, I began to say it to myself. I'm Harold Green. I'm an amazing person. I live an amazing life. And this day, today, is going to be a great, an amazing day. So say that to yourself. I'm so-and-so and so-and-so. I'm an amazing person. I live an amazing life. And this day today, oh man, it's going to be an amazing day. So are you guys ready? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, let's get it. So today's show, the title is going to be Bold and Aggressive Moves. And I want to talk to you about 2 areas of your life where you can begin to make bold and aggressive moves that will change your destiny and your trajectory moving forward. And it's some exciting stuff. And I want to talk about a story in the Bible about King David, or before he became king. He had a group of guys. He was a leader, and you can find this in the Old Testament. And they had went out and they were doing battle and all the stuff that they do back then. And they came back and somebody had attacked the camp. All their wives and their kids gone. And the guys who were with him were like, yo, David, man, this is all your fault. And everybody's like, they were mad at him and they were going to stone him. They were going to kill him. And David had to go and encourage himself because everybody wanted to take him out because they thought it was all his fault. And God gave him some strength and God gave him some power. And he said, you know what? Let's go. We're going to pursue. We're going to overtake. We're going to recover all. But sometimes in life, you're going to have some losses. But you know what? You can pursue, you can overtake, and you can recover all. But it's going to require you to make some bold and aggressive moves. And so there's 2 areas I want to talk about. I want to talk to you about making some bold and aggressive moves in your personal life. And then I'm going to talk to you about making some bold and aggressive moves in your financial life. And what you're going to understand is, and what you have to understand is that you have to change your world from the inside out. And I'm sure if you guys have any amount of money and you have done any amount of self-help study, you know that. They teach you that. That's like the basic. You got to change you inside before you can change you on the outside. But it's easier said than done. And so because we're going to be talking about investments today, I got to put this out there. All investments carry risk of loss. Past performance is no indicator of future results. Go do your own due diligence. Make sure you study and you understand your risk assessments and get your own professional opinion from a financial advisor or an investment advisor before you make any decisions. Don't act on anything that I tell you in the show. It's just for educational purposes only. And so I had to put that out there for you. So let's talk about changing numero uno first, changing you. And a lot of times when you set out and you start to change, I'm going to caution you not to try to make too many changes at one time. Don't try to go for like the whole shebang at one time. You got to take it in small pieces and small chunks. And you got to look at the thing that you want to change most that you think is affecting your outside world. It could be your thought process, it could be your weight, it could be a lot of different things that you need to change. But there's three stages to this change. And a lot of people give up after stage one. And I'll tell you what that is. Like, for me right now, I'm making some changes in my life, and some amazing things have happened to me this week. Some amazing opportunities came up. I mean, I can't get into them, but it was just like, wow, this is amazing. This is awesome. Because I began to get more aggressive in a couple of different areas. And I began to get more aggressive in my thinking and the things that I think and believe in and know that I can accomplish. And so some things started happening for me. But when I first started making changes, the first stage that I found myself in was like the horrible stage. And this is when like I made the change, and then it's like I just felt horrible, like, oh my God, like how long is this gonna last? Like, when does the adjustments kick in? Like, oh my God. And then in my mind, I began to try to justify like, well, I only need to do this for a little while, and then, I can always stop and start, stop and start, stop and start. And you get into this mode of stop and start because it's just so horrible, right? People just can't seem to get through the first phase of the adjustments that they're trying to make. If it's a diet, which I don't really believe in dieting, I do believe in figuring out what's good for your body and what's good for your schedule. Like me, I do a lot of intermittent fasting stuff. Like in the morning, I'll eat either a shake or I'll have no fat yogurt, Greek yogurt, high protein with some fruit and some nuts. And then I don't eat until the afternoon, and then I'll eat something not super heavy. I try not to eat super heavy in the afternoon because I know dinner's coming up. And then because I get up so early, I'll take a nap or something like that. So, 2 or 3 o'clock, I'm asleep because I pretty much have done a full day's of work by the time 12 o'clock comes around. I've been up and at it and just kind of, getting it done, getting at it. So that's how my day goes. But, when you first start making these changes, and the whole thing with the intermittent fasting for me was like, it was horrible. And I found myself like hungry all the time or thinking about food. But then as I began to get used to it, I thought about food like less and less and less and less. And I began to think more about what I'm doing, like what's in front of me, like right now. What am I doing? Like right now, I'm trading. I'm researching. Like right now, I can eat later. Food became like an afterthought, and I stopped getting hungry. But in the first few stages of that, oh man, it was hard. But after I got used to it, I got into the settling in stage. This is where you begin to like hit your stride and like, yeah, this is cool. I can do this. Yeah, this is cool. And then it just becomes like part of what you do every single day. Weekends don't matter. It becomes like a lifestyle. And then once I got into the settling in stage and then I began to find my groove, I got into the dominating stage where like now, like I can dominate this. It's not a problem for me. I have overcome this area and it's giving me tremendous results in my life. I have more mental clarity. I think clearer. I accomplished bigger things, but I had to go through these phases. And so once I started looking at this for my personal life, then I began to look at it in my financial life. And here are some of the things that you're going to need to change right now in your financial situation. Because again, I just sent out a newsletter to clients the other day. And if you are a client, thank you very much. If you're not a client and you're interested, check out the show notes, get on the calendar, and let's get it. And then figure out what we need to do for you. But I sent out that newsletter telling people, like, where are we right now in the grand scheme of things? And as I do this show, we're still dealing with this Russia stuff. And people are selling off the market. They're selling off the market and they're selling. And they're taking losses. People are taking unbelievable losses. And this is why the average investor never gets anywhere, because they sell at the wrong time and then they buy at the wrong time. Why? Because it's tied into human emotion, right? You get emotional like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm losing so much money. Oh my God, you're probably in the wrong thing to begin with. But if you understand that you're holding the right assets, it's time to reevaluate your situation and say, what happened back in 2020? What did you do in 2020, in March of 2020? Did you sell everything and run to cash and never, looking for the right opportunity to buy back in, right? And here's the thing. People who like promote bear markets, they're right in corrections. They're right sometimes. They're right sometimes but they're not right all the time. And so they'll go through a cycle and then they'll keep saying the same thing. And then it'll come around and they'll be right. See, I told you, you know what? That's going to happen because that's what the market does, right? It's going to go up and it's going to go down. You have to understand when it's going down, like Warren Buffett talks about, be greedy when other people are fearful, but then be fearful when other people are greedy, right? There's a lot of froth in the market before, and people had FOMO, fear of missing out. So they're like, I want to get in. I want to get in. It's amazing how many phone calls I get when the market is going up when people want to add more money. But when the market goes down, everybody they're like, oh man, shoot, I got to watch out because, I lost money and I don't want to throw money in at the wrong time. And there is a timing thing to it. So, in my newsletter, I told clients, like, if you got any money laying around, like in a bank somewhere, and it's money that you really don't need, let's get it. Let's get that money, put it in your portfolio, and then slowly buy in because the market is going to rip back up eventually. Like if Jesus don't come back or the world doesn't come to an end, like the market is going to climb back up. We don't know how long that's going to take, but we know it's going to happen. We don't know when, but it's what it does, right? It's what it does. Like a mean dog will bite you because that's what mean dogs do. They bite, I've been bitten by a dog several times. And, so you have to be careful how you act around these things. And this kind of market right now is acting like a mean dog. It's barking and it's snarling and it's like snot going everywhere and everybody's scared and like they're running. But you know what? Here's what we need to be doing right now. And the first thing we need to do is you need to evaluate your positions. Like, take a deep breath. What am I holding, right? Where's most of my money? What am I holding, right? Am I holding Apple? Is that a good company? Do they have long-term growth? What are their long-term growth prospects, right? Are they pioneering anything new? Microsoft, you've heard the story about these companies, Google, Zebra Technologies. I don't know, just you pick one and then you look, are they innovating? Disney, Airbnb, like what are these guys doing? Are they innovating? Will they be here 10, 15, 20 years from now? Will they revolutionize the way we live? And if the answer is yes, you have to look at that and look at these as opportunities. And so you have to split your money into two groups and your portfolios into two groups. This is just my professional opinion, and this is what I've been doing for clients. The first thing you got to look at is the mega cap growth. And you got these people on TV saying, run away from mega cap growth because they're taking it on the chin and they're going to keep taking it on the chin and blah, blah, blah. Yes, right? That's true. They are going to take it on the chin because the Fed's going to raise rates again. And there is no justification anymore why people would really sell off when Feds raise rates because they think that companies are going to have to pay more to borrow money and it's going to hurt profitability. Yeah, but when they're sitting on cash, like they're flush with cash, they don't really need to borrow, right? So they can reduce their long-term debt. And you can find these things out on the internet and go do your research in companies if you know how to break them down and analyze them. You see that. So the fear that's, in the market and the sell-off, it's unjustifiable other than it's just raw emotions getting the best of everybody. So I split the money into mega cap growth and I split it into commodities, commodity ETFs, things that pay dividends, right? I've split the money up. And so what's happening is we're having to rotate between these cycles. And if you're in an IRA or Roth IRA, it's phenomenal because there are no long-term, short-term capital gains. And if you're in a situation where there's no cost to do the trades, you can rotate your portfolio every single week. And in some cases, that's what I do in my long-term ultra portfolio. We're rotating these IRAs every week, because Schwab doesn't have any cost for the trades. And so I can go in and out of these positions. And so I'm looking at, okay, what's happening this week? All right, what are the trends? Okay, boom, let's go here. Let's lighten here. Let's go heavy here. And let's put some cash here. And then, okay, now we turn the stove back on again, start cooking, dump that cash back in there. What am I buying? I'm looking and then I'm buying, right? And so that's what's happening in the portfolios right now. And then the third thing I think you have to do is you have to adjust your time horizon. And in some cases, you got to make it shorter. That's what I did. I had a 10-year time horizon. And what I found was that was just like the fear inside of me. Like, okay, I got 10 years. And so I'm not going to worry about this because I got 10 years. But then I made it 5. And I said, dude, you got to get your personal portfolio to X number of dollars in 5 years. What that did was it changed my mindset. And I was like playing it a little too safe based on everything that I know. So I started, and this is me personally, again, don't take my advice. And you have to check this with your own investment advisor. And you have to make sure this is a legitimate strategy for your plan. It's the same thing I did when coronavirus first happened. I started buying more stocks in certain companies on margin because I knew when this thing ran up that I could sell out and I would make humongous profits. Of course, I have to pay taxes, but I was able to double my money. I did it for my son. I did it for some other clients, and I bought on margin. And so that's what I've been doing for clients that have margin enabled, which means you are using your stocks and, as collateral to borrow money from the custodian or the brokerage house, and you're buying more stock with that. You got to be careful because you have to understand the timing of things and when you're doing this with certain things, and you have to make sure you have the ability to pay that money back. And I do, right? I do have the ability to pay that money back. I can leverage it somewhere else, right? At a lower interest rate. I could refinance my house if I wanted to. And this is me personally. I'm not saying for you to do this because I analyze my financial plan at least once a quarter. But I analyze my holdings daily because it's just part of my routine. And I've kind of built that into my routine. And then I research at night, when I don't have kids. I mean, I have kids, but they're out of the house. And my wife, she's in college. And so her life is centered around going to college and then also running the accounting department of my firm. So, we don't have like these grandiose hobbies. I play golf, but, I don't play golf all the time. And so we don't do a whole lot of volunteering or anything like that because I spend a lot of time with my clients making sure they're okay. And because I don't, charge exuberant amounts, then to me, that's a way of giving back. I do some coaching here and there, and I don't charge for that stuff. And so I do have my philanthropic things and I have my giving that I do. So I use my time to, and I got to go back and find this for you guys, but I think it's in Proverbs 9:18 or something like that, verse 9. He who is loose and slack in his work is a brother to him who is a destroyer. And he who does not use his endeavors to heal himself is a brother to him who commits suicide. And it's talking about like using your time and your energy and your effort and your skills, and you leverage that stuff. And that's what I've been doing. And so I looked at that and said, is now the time to leverage more of my dollars into my portfolio? And for me, the answer is yes. So like I'm wading in. I'm buying more stock. Not in large tranches or anything like that, but I'm slowly buying back in. And then I'm just waiting because I know within the next 6 months, if the market's still here, things are going to look extremely different one way or the other. And I'm hedging to the upside versus the downside. Now I do have downside protection because I have life insurance policies with cash value. So we have cash value life insurance policies. We have our home equity line of credit with almost a zero balance on it. I have a business line of credit. I have credit cards with humongous lines of credit on my credit cards if I ever had to rely on getting money from somewhere, right? And I just kind of put that out there. And it's kind of like pursue, overtake, recover all. And you have to look at, okay, where can I make bold and aggressive moves that's not going to put me in the poorhouse? But if I don't make these bold and aggressive moves, if I don't act now, where am I going to be 5, 10, 15 years from now? And again, you may have to shorten your time horizon, right? That's what I love about the Rapid Retire program because it teaches you how to leverage your time, leverage your assets, leverage your resources to the best of your ability in order to create phenomenal success for yourself. Again, who are you? For me, I'm Harold Green. I'm an amazing person. I live an amazing life. And today, this day is going to be a great and amazing day. And I want you to continue to think that way and to continue to say that about yourself. And then pretty soon, opportunities are going to find their way to you. And I just wanted to share that with you because I think anytime there's dips in the market or there's people running for the hills in certain areas, that's the time you make your bold and aggressive moves. And so thank you very much for allowing me to share that show with you. And until next time, everybody, 1, 2, 3, let's get it.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.